we have a conversation with the Deputy Minister-designate for Health, Member of Parliament for Achimoda, Vice Chair of the Trade and Industry Committee of Parliament, Member of the Health Committee as well, a member of the Government Assurance Committee. He is in the person of Akwasi, a former media practitioner, health administrator, a man of many parts. Akwasi, you're welcome to Point Blank.
Thank you, Salom.
It's a pleasure having you. We've been chasing you for a while, but the time has come. In fact, maybe the appointed time has come today. So congrats also on your nomination as Deputy Minister-designate for the Health Ministry. How did the news get to you?
Well, thank you very much, Salom, for having me this evening. I thought we were going to ask. I have another name.
Okay.
Alexander.
Oh, Alexander Akwasi Acquah. But we've known you as Alexander Akwasi
is more of a media name.
Yes.
Political name, Alexander Akwasi Acquah.
So Alexander Akwasi Acquah is my guest. Member of Parliament for Achimoda, Deputy Minister-designate for Health, and he's done quite a number of things for himself. So welcome to the program. Now we can start the program properly.
Salom, thank you. These things always happen, and it takes you by surprise. Mm-hmm. If you look at all the names that were speculated, I didn't appear anywhere. Mm-hmm. In fact, I was sitting on the TV network discussing the very topic of reshuffle.
Wow.
And looking at the names that were being speculated. And boom.
There you were.
The official list dropped. And the hostess told me, "Honorable, you are here." I said, "Yes, I'm here." So I thought she was talking about my presence in the studio. I said, "No, you are in the list." I said, "Whoa."
Oh, so you got to hear of it on air?
On air.
Wow.
Even though there were discussions behind the scenes, but when it got to
the manifestation of the discussions.
The invitations, I kept on waiting for my invitation. And these things, you don't bank your hopes on them, because it's the prerogative of the president. He decides who he chooses to serve in the executive. And so we'll say all thanks to God, and then all thanks to the presidency, and for all others who have seen what I was doing and thought that it was relevant for me to be part of government. Though short while, we plan to deliver.
So how does it work typically? The president will call you, chief of staff will call you, or somebody will mention your name to the president. They will call you and ask you, can you do it, or will you want to do it? Where do you want to be? How does it happen? And you say, I don't want it, or I want it, or I wish you placed me here. How does it happen typically, especially in your case?
Like I just explained, mine is a bit different from all others. I was in my constituency on Tuesday, even though I had calls from some others that, look, you're being considered for a position, and all that. Well, who are you going to? You don't apply for this position, though nobody applies to become a minister. You may want to lobby through one or two people and all that. But relevantly,
so you did lobby through one or two people?
Not
or
really.
you had conversations with one or two people and you express interest, because every politician will express interest if it comes
up. I've had people telling me I'm working so hard, I should continue working, and in no time I'll be recognized. So there are people who had seen what I was doing and thought that I needed to be recognized to get into a position that would encourage me to do more.
So I see. So we'll get back to the whole position of the deputy health minister or the health ministry. But you've been you are a first term member of parliament. But we realized that you did not have any opposition in your primaries. How did that happen? Is it because there was nobody in the constituency to contest you? You caused a disqualification of people, or people just thought that no, let's allow the gentleman to do what he's doing?
Well, if you have followed my constituency very well, I went into the constituency as a member of parliament amidst a lot of disasters. On the 5th of April, just 3 months when I had been ushered into parliament, there was a major rainstorm which ripped off of close to about 13 school buildings. And government had not been formed yet. There were all sort of confusion in Parliament, and it was during the COVID era. And so I mustered courage and I faced that situation, fixed the roof all by myself before even Get Fund gave it out for contracts. And then some months later, I think the 18th of September, the whole of the Achim Odam market got razed down by fire. So within the span of a year, I faced such disasters, and it automatically gives you an opportunity to start working. And so I'm sure whatever sacrifices I did right from the beginning, and the fact that I decided to work for my people, and the fact that I decided to make sure I protect the image of my government and my party, it was a bit difficult for any other person to come, because when you have worked this much, the whole constituency, the party folks, the constituents, the chiefs, religious leaders, every other person in the constituency will come to appreciate the fact that you are their man. And so I have always said that I did not go working for an unopposed situation, but the work that I was doing that was supposed to have spoken for me during elections were those that pushed people away, because Oda is a very strong seat. Oda is a very powerful seat, and since the time of the Honorable Yaosaf Mafo, who had the opportunity to go unopposed, we haven't had any other person going unopposed, and so it's quite relevant that at this point in time, I would say that I worked so that my work would speak for me during elections, but apparently my work pushed away suitors for the job.
This is Point Blank on Eyewitness News. My guest is Alexander Akwasi, Acquah, Member of Parliament for Achim Oda, Deputy Minister-designate for Health. We're having a general conversation about his primaries and Achim Oda, and we're just about to delve into the health sector where he'll be heading. So what has been your experience really in Parliament so far? Has Parliament been what you thought it was when you were not in the House? Because people say, okay, it wasn't what I thought. But for you, was Parliament the way you envisaged it?
I think I would want to answer by saying yes or no. Yes and no. Because I got into Parliament, like I earlier said, I got into Parliament facing all sort of disasters. And so it was a situation where you were supposed to fight for yourself. There was nothing like you're a first timer. You're still occupying a seat. And so whatever it is, you need to be able to satisfy your constituents and let them feel that they have a representative. So in Parliament, yes, you have seniors, you have people that you can consult, you have people that you can always run to for ideas here and there. But at the end of the day, that is you that everybody looks up to. You cannot go back to your constituents and tell them I'm a first timer, and so I couldn't fix this or I couldn't do that. And so you want to look at Parliament as a forest, like it's proverbially said in tree. It's a very big forest, but you have every tree standing on its own when you get closer. So we are together. But when it gets to real issues, it's all about yourself and your constituents.
I see. So how about the part we hear that constituents will be coming to your house every now and then with needs and concerns, hospital bills, school fees, and all of that? How are you navigating through that maze as well?
I think that I started serving my constituents in this same manner, and so it hadn't been anything new because I went into politics because I felt I needed to give out something to my people, and so I cannot say it's been too much, but sometimes it becomes overwhelming.
I see. So the health sector where you are going as deputy to Bernard Okoboy, hopefully. It's one of those very technical areas and so has quite a number of issues. Recently, we've had matters with kidney disease, the fact that the renal unit of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital was saying that they needed more money. In fact, they had closed down. They reopened. Recently, we hear there's some 2 million debt that had accrued and increasing. If nothing is done, they may have to close down again, and a number of people having to go to the place requiring dialysis. And the point is that they are unable to do full cost recovery due to one or two things. I mean, the fees, and charges, regulations or act Parliament must pass and all of that. It does appear that there are real concerns. Is there any idea you have about how this particular matter, about the kidney difficulties and diseases, could be dealt with? Others have said, let's put it on the health insurance scheme. But that also comes with its own challenges. Have you thought about this? And do you have any idea as far as resolving this matter is concerned?
I would say that as a nation, we haven't paid attention to certain areas as far as healthcare is concerned. We have often taken things as normal as it is. And in the past, people have seen some of these conditions as conditions that are suffered by the rich people, the well-to-do. And so at the end of the day, you don't have people complaining. But now it's a bit widespread. You have others suffering such conditions and they need support here and there. There have been suggestions that it should be on the health insurance. We already know the health insurance is not the way we want it. You have providers complaining, and so health insurance is a bit overstretched. And treating kidneys, it's kind of expensive, and the chronic nature makes it so difficult to manage as far as finances are concerned. It's purely a policy issue. I think because it's come up as a major issue and a lot of people are discussing it, it will be one of the things that would attract the attention of my boss, Dr. Okoboy, and then I've been asked to go in to support him. And so I'm sure if it becomes one of the things that he wants to push the hard, we'll give him that needed support.
Others have said, so I'm just tossing an idea. Others have said that we should introduce a special levy or even convert the COVID levy to something in that direction so that money that accrues, we can specifically devote to that. People have said the health insurance scheme is not the place to put it because the scheme is already overstretched for political reasons and for whatever reason. The premium remains the same. The cost of providing healthcare grows and it further burdens the scheme. And so the scheme is there in name, but when you go to hospital, you're a hospital owner, when you go to hospital, the reality there is quite different. And so it is not the right place to be. So one, your own ideas on what we can do to refix the health insurance scheme and what you think others say about you putting this on the health insurance scheme, what implications that will have for the survival of the scheme.
So, my brother, why don't you start opening up the conversation? It starts with the media. The media started this Galamsey fight, and then it got to a point, government came into it, and the whole nation is up in arms against Galamsey. This issue of health insurance and its premium, I mean, if anybody hears how much people pay for our premium for a whole year, it's like a joke. Meanwhile, this is one of the best and the most biggest payer system that we have experienced in Africa. Others come and study what we have here. So why would we want to do ourselves such a harm?
It's political. It has become political. So NDC will play with it, NPP will play with it. I recall 2016.
And that is what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking the media to start opening up a conversation with us. Because if as a politician, I'm afraid to increase the premium because Ghanaians are going to start fighting against it. And the NDC comes and says they are also afraid to increase the premium. Then we are killing a very healthy system. So the media has a role so that it becomes
something from the people.
Away from politics, so that the people will realize the fact that, look, if you're paying this to have a card and it's going to take care of you the whole of the year, then it must be something substantial. So you can get the quality of service that we need from our various hospitals. I mean, it is almost as if, yes, we are pretending to pay, and the hospitals are also pretending to take care of us. People. Now co-payment is a major issue that health insurance is dealing with. The providers are not happy with the fact that health insurance is coming upon them because they feel that whatever they are spending to take care of the health insurance client is so much. And so, health insurance has done so well these days. For every month, there's some form of payment into the accounts of providers. But the real cost of giving quality service is what we are talking about. So I think that we need to start opening up the conversation.
So opening up the conversation also could mean that we need to look at reviewing the scheme. There was some review that was done by Dr. Chris Atim and Co. In 2015, 2016ish. But we've not seen much about that. I don't know if that has come to your attention. I'm sure once you go into the ministry, you have access to those documents and look at and in that review, they try to tier it. So they had the primary healthcare part and the second tier being for other conditions, which you'll have to pay a bit more to access. I don't know what you're thinking around that is. I don't know whether you've seen that document at all. I don't know whether you think that we need to open it up, review it properly, root and branch, so we have a different kind of scheme from the one we have now. This is about 20 years old, and I think it needs some major reforms.
I am of the view that we definitely need to start talking about the kind of premium we pay for our health insurance. Because I've had the opportunity of being on the two sides. I have been with health insurance from its inception, so I know how it started and all that. And I've also been on the provider side, and I know how we suffer to take care of patients, giving them quality service. And so we have to be real to ourselves and ask ourselves that, look, what do we want? What do we want for our people? What do we want for ourselves? You pay 25 cedis, 30 cedis, and you
in
think,
some cases 4 cedis,
and you think that should take care of you for the whole of the year. You understand? And so health insurance would have issues in mobilizing resources to be able to pay the providers. And so, like I'm saying, I mean, this is election year. It would be very suicidal for any political party to say that we're going to do that. I mean, you remember the Professor Mills one-time premium payment agenda. It was fantastic. Everybody caught on to it. And but later he has to eat his humble pie by saying that, look, this is not possible.
Actually, it didn't make sense.
We couldn't do it, but politically, he had used it to win elections. You understand? So now, if you come to tell anybody this is how much you have to do and all that, I mean, it will be a bit suicidal. But we have to open up the conversation, and I'm asking and charging the media to start with this.
So speaking about the health sector again, these days, a lot of people want to be nurses because it has become like the quickest and the surest way to get out of the country and get a good job outside. Of course, it is a number of factors, may contribute to the demand for nurses outside. It doesn't appear that there is any strategy to deal with this. So we have a lot of nurses. We hear on monthly basis about 800 nurses leave the country, and the nurses who leave are not just new or young nurses. They are quite experienced nurses, 4, 5, 6, 7 years experienced nurses leaving. This should also be a concern to yourself and your boss, of course, as you move into the ministry. Are there any ideas you have you want to table for discussion?
If you're a senior nurse and you've practiced for so long, and you think that you haven't been able to make life the way you want it, and there's an opportunity like that, you want to leave. Except those few ones who think that government trained me and I must stay to work for the people that I was trained for. But I look at these things on two fronts. One, you have some countries taking up this strategy as a serious forex means of foreign exchange, where they train nurses and export them, and then the government gets involved, get them fixed in hospitals, and then there is some form of payment,
foreign exchange
to
even like what Cuba does. But I thought Ghana started something like about exporting some nurses to Barbados and some countries. I don't know how far we've gone with it, but I think it's an area.
I think it was on the pilot basis, and so when we have gone in, we want to look at such a thing, because you see, we have nurses today in Ghana who want employment. I mean, as a politician, as somebody on the health committee, as somebody who has a link with hospitals, you have a lot of people coming to you telling you, "I want job." They have finished school, postings have not come. Government is not able to please all of them. Even though government has done so well, this government has employed a lot of nurses. The backlog has actually been cleared up to this point, but we still have some few nurses at home. So if these ones have been trained and they are packaged well, and they are taken out, you have a lot of people, because we have a lot of training schools now, and we have a lot of people who want to enter to the nursing profession. So everybody who wants to go to the university and the other training institutions. And so if the many training institutions are ready to continuously train, we take off the quota system. Now we have a quota system.
Yeah.
If you look at the nursing training in my constituency, for instance, they have a capacity to train more. But there's always a quota system. But if we take off the quota system, what it means is that we are able to train more nurses and we are able to push them. I've had a facility complaining that they are overstaffed. They are actually overstaffed.
Wow.
Officials of Ghana Health Service will tell you, because you want people have come to appeal to you for them to get transferred to some other areas, and then you go and they tell you, no, this place, they are actually overstaffed. There are too many people who don't have work to do. So if this is the actual situation, we have to face the reality. Let's be pragmatic. Let's be realistic.
And train them and export them and make
I have
some
a very
money.
strong view of that.
So the infrastructure, access, infrastructure or physical access is important. Government is embarking on a very bold move, call it Agenda 111. We do not know when the first one will be completed. People have said there are just some places, nothing really is happening. In Siasare, who is the presidential advisor on health, tells us that there's quite a bit happening. What's your information on the status of some of these facilities?
The last time they appeared...
Do you have one in your district?
No, we have a very old hospital, which is going to be 100 years.
Oh.
And so my agenda for that is to have it rehabilitated to befit the current municipality status of Achimota.
Okay, 100 years this year.
Next 2 years.
Next 2 years.
2 3 years.
Okay.
And so I have a focus to make sure we get it rehabilitated, because we have a lot of space and it is such that we can put it up and make it look like some
Very
of this
modern.
modern Agenda 111. So but we have others in the districts, adjoining districts. My view on the Agenda 111 is the very biggest infrastructure system as far as our healthcare is concerned. Now, I don't have the information, but the last time they appeared before the parliamentary committee, we have a lot of them getting into stages where we are so sure this year some could be commissioned.
Before the election.
Before elections. There are a few that could be commissioned before elections.
People have asked about the large general hospital, for example. That why do you pull it down if you know you were not ready to build it? And so the people in those areas are underserved. The major facility that took care of a lot of people in the area, now it's almost like a football park. The people in the area complain every time. Is there any, of course, health committee? Is there any information you have on that you share?
The issue can be attributed to a situation where the financier pulled out, and then we have another one coming in. I think because of COVID issues, he also pulled out and all that. But I'm informed that now it's come on the Agenda 111 platform, and so it becomes easier for it to be pushed faster.
I see. People. So yeah. Let's deal with other issues in 2 minutes. People have said that, of course, your government has done a bit, but the hardship in the system is made your government quite unpopular, if not very unpopular. I don't know what people tell you when you go to the constituency, but for many of us, the number of people who come to us to ask for money has increased, an indication that things are not quite well with a lot of people. And we are approaching an election. You have come in as maybe a super sub in football parlance to help maybe correct some things or help make a few things work. What really, and this is a bigger question. What really should be do you think should be government's approach? Finance minister is gone. A lot of people think finance minister was responsible for a lot of the problems. Is gone. A different person is in now. A lot of the old guards are gone. New guys are in now. What is the strategy? How are you guys going to ensure that the hardship in the system is a bit reduced before elections?
I think it's about aggressively communicating the real issues. There hasn't always, we have never had a situation where we would say our economy has been good. At any point in time, by the 8th year of aided government, you have the opposition touting the fact that things are not good and all that. But we know where we are coming from and we know where we are. We know what investments we have done in the system. We know where the economy is climbing up to. You understand? So it's about telling the people, if we do not let them understand the fact that it's not just about now, but there is a future we are building together, then there will be hopelessness. But let them have hope. Let them know the fact that we have started from somewhere. If you are thinking about the fact that the system is so hard, think about the fact that what would you have done if you were paying for your school fees? Think about the fact that health insurance couldn't pay providers, and at any point in time, they will tell you, no, we are not serving health insurance clients. Compared to what happened in the past, to now, when every every month there is a form of payment that goes into a provider's account. Think about all the innovations that makes life easier. These have come about because of some huge expenditures. And so we are looking beyond now. We are going into the future. And from the both solutions that was proffered by our Vice President, our flag bearer, we have hope that we need to just communicate to the average Ghanaian, and then we want to compare apples with apples.
Very well. Maybe your final word. Somebody on Facebook is saying that you are the most resourceful MP in the Eastern region, the only MP to pre-finance internal roads construction in his constituency. I never knew you were pre-financing roads in your constituency.
Oh, it was an intervention. For some of us, we can't sit aloof when things are not. Coming together for us. So I met a contractor. He said he didn't. He was waiting for some payments here and there. There were complaints. I said, hey, let me find you some resources.
They are very resourceful then, because road construction is a major matter.
Oh, well, I supported him. I got him back to site so that at least as he
no wonder you went unopposed. No wonder the contender ran away at some point. Anyway, so what's your final word to your people?
Well, my final word to my people is that thank God their support has brought us this far. We are telling all Ghanaians to hold on fast. The fact that we have a lot of arrangements to make sure we have a very brighter future for all of us.
I see.